Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some very fun Spice battles in the Great League, featuring my Rank 1 Shadow SEALEO. Since the Walrein Calm Day, SEALEO has basically been entirely forgotten since Walrein is so dominant. Shadow SEALEO, however, can still put in a lot of work. For the moveset, I'm running Powder Snow, Body Slam, and Water Pulse, and had some very nice battles, including a 5-0 set. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out my Rank 1 Shadow SEALEO in action in the Great League. Hopping into the first match, picking up a Nightmare lead, Defense Deoxys into Sableye. I will immediately save switch into Shadow SEALEO. Sableye is going to stay in and go for the foul play. I do live this. I'm going to let that go. SEALEO able to tank it, and my opponent responds with Azumarill. The nice thing about this matchup is due to Azumarill running Bubble and my typing, they're not going to be able to farm me down here. So I'm just going to keep farming up a ton of energy with Shadow SEALEO. Shadow SEALEO is extremely spammy. I fire off Body Slam number 2, and I'm going to commit the shield. They're not going to be able to farm me down here, and if possible, I need to try and win switch advantage. I'm going to be firing off the third Body Slam. This will be getting the Azumarill quite low. Azu is going to let that through. I'm going to overfarm again with the SEALEO and fire off another Body Slam. Body Slam gets the Azumarill low. SEALEO able to farm down and take switch advantage. They bring in Sableye, and I am able to reach the Water Pulse. Water Pulse, if it lands, will do a nice amount of damage onto the Sableye, and I'm able to get them quite low. I bring in Walrein, they're going to fire off another foul play. I will tank this, and it all depends what they have in the back. In the back, they have Registeel. I immediately switch into Defense Deoxys to try and get as much counter damage off on the Registeel as possible. Registeel is going to fire off the Zap Cannon and lower the amount of counter damage I'm able to do. I have a ton of energy, I'm going to fire off the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt does get the shield, Registeel wanting to try and preserve as much HP as possible. They overfarm, and I'm able to reach a second Thunderbolt. That is huge. Thunderbolt able to land, and I'm going to let this go and trust in Walrein. Shadow SEALEO was able to get me switch. Can Walrein win me this game? I'm going to overfarm, and I'm at the back-to-back Icicle Spears, firing off the first move. Icicle Spear gets the shield from Registeel, and I'm able to fire off the second one. This should be enough to take out the Registeel. Back in comes Sableye. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. The bad leads continue in the next match, Deoxys into Gengar. Again, I save switch into Shadow SEALEO, and my opponent responds with a Scrafty. Definitely not a great matchup for SEALEO, but at the very least, I get to bait out the counter user. I'm going to let that power-up punch through and start firing back with Body Slams. First one gets the Scrafty below half health, and I'm able to reach one final Body Slam. This will not KO the Scrafty, but as you're going to see, it does come incredibly close, which is pretty remarkable for an Ice type going up against a fighter. I bring in Deoxys. I'm not shielding a thing, I'm just committing to the farm down. Fortunately, they were short of the foul play, and back in comes Gengar. I'm going straight for the Psycho Boost. This should grab me shield advantage, and then I have to hope that shield advantage Walrein can win me this game. In the back, they have Azumarill, and things are honestly looking pretty good for me here. I'm going to be firing off the Earthquake. I'm not expecting a shield, because at this point, Azu is their tanky Pokemon left alive. They're probably saving shields for the Glass Cannon that is Gengar. I'm going to shield the Play Rough just because it would do quite a bit of damage, and then I'm just going to look to farm up a ton of energy. They're going to fire off a Play Rough. Bit of a tough call to make here. I decide to let it through and save the shield for the energy from Gengar. I'm going to fire back with the Earthquake. Earthquake onto the Azumarill, able to land. I'm going for the farm down. In comes Gengar, and I'm going to be firing off the Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear will get them quite low. They elect to let that through, and they're going to be firing off a move. I am going to shield up, try and get as much Powder Snow damage as possible here, and they're able to reach another move. It all comes down to this. Can Deoxys triple resisted counter down a Gengar? In comes Deoxys. Deoxys able to counter down the Gengar and the Azumarill, and we clutch a narrow victory. Hopping into the next match, picking up a very nice lead, Deoxys into Walrein. Opponent save switches into Drapion, and I respond with my own Walrein. This is a pretty nice matchup because I can threaten the super effective Earthquake, and that would hit them for massive damage. They go for the Crunch, and they don't get the debuff. That's huge. That means I'm going to be able to live this next Crunch, and fire off my move without having to commit a shield. I bait with the Icicle Spear, hoping for the shield, and I get it. Drapion going for the farm down. Walrein able to reach the last second Earthquake. Do they commit the second shield? They do not. And I'm able to win switch advantage. Back in comes Walrein. I bring in my Deoxys. They have Talonflame in the back. And now I get to align Talonflame onto my Shadow SEALEO. I'm going to be shielding everything here. They go for the Flame Charge, and I'm going to fire back with the Water Pulse. Water Pulse will hit for massive damage if it lands, which it does. Back in comes the Walrein, but Shadow SEALEO is in the driver's seat of this match. And now I'm just going to start spamming out Body Slam after Body Slam after Body Slam. Walrein goes for the Earthquake, and I actually decide to commit the shield because today is the Shadow SEALEO show. I shield up the SEALEO, and I'm going to continue spamming out Body Slams. I'm able to land one, and I'm going to be firing off another as well. This Body Slam goes unshielded, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Deoxys into Cofagrigus. Safe switch again into the Shadow SEALEO, and again I am met with a Scrafty. We've seen how this matchup plays out. SEALEO at the very least can make it very close. I fire off the Body Slam, I farm up, and they're gonna fire off a move. I'm gonna let this go. They actually go for the foul play, and I'm not able to land my second Body Slam. Honestly, this is still okay. I will be able to get a nice farm down with my Deoxys, and that way I leave with some energy to soften up the Cofagrigus. They're going to be firing off the foul play. Foul play does quite a lot of damage, and I'm able to counter down. Back in comes Cofagrigus. I'm going straight for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost, able to connect. In comes Walrein. In the back, they have Shadow Kanto Ninetales, and this is basically game over. I have one win con, going straight for the Earthquake. Earthquake, able to land through the two shields, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match of the set, leading Deoxys into Sableye. So 5 games in the set, 4 ghost type leads. I again save switch into the Shadow SEALEO, and they're going to be firing off the foul play. Like last time, I'm just going to let this go and see what they have in the back. They're actually staying in and farming up, so I'm going to fire off the Water Pulse. This will do quite a bit of damage if it lands, which it does onto the Sableye. They bank a move, and they bring in Drapion. I'm going to fire off the Body Slam, and then if they try and farm me down, I'm going to commit to the Water Pulse. I farm up, they get scared, and they fire off a move. Honestly, this works pretty nicely for me. They fire off the Crunch, and I'm going to commit to the counter down with my Deoxys. Unfortunately, this Drapion does have a lot of energy, so I'm going to tank one Crunch, shield the next, and then hopefully I should be able to farm down before they reach their next move. It's going to be really close. I shield up. Deoxys is able to counter down. That's big. They bring back in the Sableye, but this Sableye is very low. I go for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost takes out the Sableye. In the back, they have Venusaur. This is a debuffed Psycho Boost, but I'm still going for it. It lands. I bring in Walrein. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Deoxys into Swampert. Fairly neutral lead. I'm going to stay in here to start, but eventually I do want to switch out, hopefully catching a Hydro Cannon in the process. They're going to fire off the first Hydro Cannon. I'm going to let that through and fire back with the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost will do a solid chunk of damage if it lands, which it does. I throw one more counter switch, and I'm able to catch the Hydro Cannon onto Walrein. Let's go. My opponent is going to respond with Medicham. A pretty bad situation for Walrein, but baiting this out is quite nice because that should hopefully free up Shadow SEALEO for the end game. I am going to be able to land both of my Icicle Spears, which is going to be getting that Medicham quite low, and then I should be able to take care of it with my Defense Deoxys. I am going to wait my timer, bring in the Deoxys, and if possible, try and commit to the farm down. They're going to fire off an Ice Punch. I should be able to tank the second Ice Punch here, but it's going to be very, very close. I let it through. Ice Punch gets me low. I don't think I can counter down, so I'm just going to fire off the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost takes out the Medicham. I bring in my Shadow SEALEO, and it's Skarmory in the back. I do have to be careful of a potential catch onto their Swampert. I shield up the Sky Attack. In comes the Swampert. I'm going to massively overfarm and fire off the Body Slam. This Body Slam will be taking out the Swampert. And now it's all up to SEALEO. Can SEALEO take out the Skarmory? I Body Slam bait and I get the shield. That's huge. I'm going to farm up, and this time go straight for the Water Pulse, hoping against hope they decide to let it through, and they do! That's huge. SEALEO can now try and commit to the farm down. I'm going to shield the SEALEO, and we should be able to farm that Skarmory all the way down and pick up another win. Hopping into the next match, leading Defense Deoxys into the mirror. With 2 ice types in the back, I definitely need to stay in this lead and just try and do as much damage as I can to my opponent's Deoxys. I'm gonna go straight for the Thunderbolt just to try and get some early damage. Thunderbolt able to land. My opponent is going to overfarm and fire back with a Thunderbolt of their own. I'm going to let this go, and again, I'm going to go for my Thunderbolt as soon as I'm able to get there. I go for the Thunderbolt, and I win the CMP tie. That's quite nice. My Thunderbolt goes unshielded, so I'm not going to shield theirs either. I'm going to let this go, throw a couple counters, and then try and snipe with my Wall Rain. I farm up, bring in the Wall Rain, but their Deoxys is barely able to hang on and reach the last second Psycho Boost. That is quite unfortunate, and then they're going to bring in Lickitung. I'm going to farm up and fire off an Icicle Spear just before they're able to reach a Body Slam. Icicle Spear won't do a lot, but any chip damage will help, and it is the CMP tied to the Body Slam. I'm going to let this go. Body Slam is not going to be enough to KO. Lickitung looking for the farm down. Wall Rain able to reach the last second Earthquake. I'm really hoping this Earthquake lands. Earthquake gets the shield from the Lickitung. That is quite unfortunate. I'm going to bring in Shadow SEALEO. Shadow SEALEO has to get rid of this Lickitung and be able to take out whatever's in the back. I shield up. It is just a Body Slam, and I believe this can only be a Body Slam, so this one I am going to no shield. I let that Body Slam through. In the back, they have Shadow Wall Rain. Things honestly looking pretty tough here. SEALEO fires off the Body Slam and does have quite a lot of energy saved. I'm going to farm up to the back-to-back Body Slams to start to apply some pressure onto this Wall Rain. I fire off another. I'm going to look to overfarm because I'm going to need extra energy if I'm going to be able to take out the Lickitung. I shield up. Unfortunately, they bait with an Icicle Spear and they fire off another one. At this point, any damage is going to help them. I farm up and I'm at the back-to-back Body Slams yet again. Body Slam takes out the Wall Rain. They can bring back in the Lickitung, which they do. Am I going to be able to reach the back-to-back Body Slams again? This is going to be close. First one gets shielded. I'm able to reach another. Is this going to be enough to take out the Lickitung? Body Slam, not enough. I bring in Deoxys. Deoxys gets farmed down, and unfortunately, we lose a heartbreakingly close game. Hopping into the final match, leading Deoxys into Swampert. We've seen this lead before. I'm going to stay in, fire off a Psycho Boost, and then hopefully be able to catch a Hydro Cannon onto my Wall Rain. I farm up quite a bit, and I'm firing off the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost gets the shield. I throw a counter, switch, but my opponent held onto their energy. Were they able to react in time? Yes, they were, and I get hit with an Earthquake. My opponent brings in Talonflame. Talonflame may be looking for the farm down. I do have a lot of energy though. I fire off the Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear gets them low, and I'm able to reach another Icicle Spear. This should be taking out the Talonflame if they let it through, so they're forced to commit the shield. I do have some energy available on my Deoxys. I'm going to wait the clock, bring in the Deoxys, and basically use it to absorb some energy. They fire off the Flame Charge. I throw 2 counters, and I'm firing off the Psycho Boost before they're able to hit me with a boosted Flame Charge. Psycho Boost will take them out. In the back, they have Skarmory, and I have Shadow SEALEO with 2 shields. And SEALEO is in a commanding position to close out this match. I'm going to shield up the Sky Attack, and then I'm going to fire back with the Water Pulse. Water Pulse is only hitting for neutral here, but will do a solid chunk of damage onto the Skarmory. Skarmory able to reach a second Sky Attack. I'm going to be shielding this up as well, and then just continuing to overfarm. In comes the Swampert, and I just have so much energy here, firing off the Body Slam. That gets them low, able to reach a second Body Slam. That will be taking out the Swampert, and then I should be able to farm that Skarmory all the way down, and that is a good game. All in all, I had a ton of fun getting to run Shadow SEALEO again. While Wall Rain definitely is preferred, Shadow SEALEO can still put in a lot of work. That Powder Snow Body Slam combination is incredibly spammy, and thanks to that extra shadow damage, if you're not careful, Shadow SEALEO may just be able to take switch advantage away from you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.